Good evening, everyone. This is Angie Stewart from My Inner Light, Miami Inner Light, here directly in Kardec Radio. Welcome if it's your first time in our study. So, first of all, I just would like to let you know that I had to cancel the class last Thursday because unfortunately a person that I love very much discarnated. So I was not feeling well to be able to give the class. It was in the day of our class. So in Spiritism, we believe in eternal life, the real life, the life of the spirit. But as you all know, we are human beings and we miss the physical presence of the person. So as a normal person, it was very difficult for me to be able to deal with that momentary loss. Because as we know, what connects us is love. So because I love her and she loves me, I know we will meet again one day. So tonight I'm feeling good and we are able to have our class back. So if you are new to our study, this is the book that we are almost finishing, Thought and Life. There are 30 chapters, psychographic by the medium Chico Xavier, and the spirit was the spirit of Emmanuel. And today we are going to be talking about chapter 28, illness, and then we are going to have just more 2 chapters. Then the next book that we will be studying will be this one, Among Brothers of Other Lands. This is also a beautiful book. I already spoke about it. It was psychographic by 2 mediums, Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira, and brought messages from many spirits. And most of the messages were psychographic in English, even if Chico Xavier never spoke English before this book. Another book I really would like to talk about is this one, The Spiritist Review. And this one is the one from 1858. It's a thick book, but it is a very, very interesting book. So this book, Kardec was able to collect all the phenomena that he studied through many, many mediums. So this book is extremely interesting for us to understand how was the process that Kardec studied the mediumship. In that time, nobody believed in mediumship. Nobody knew what was it. So he was the one that the spirituality chose to be our codifier, the one who was going to be experimentations to be able to understand it. Because in that time, as we know, in the 1800s, lots of phenomena, mediumistic phenomena, was happening. But the people used to connect it with games, like we talk about the turning tables. They were like games, you didn't have TV, no computer, no Facebook. So what did you do? You went to meet your friends, and there you all together got together around the table and you tried to play the game of turning tables. It's kind of similar to the Ouija board that's well known in the United States. And then you try to connect spirits. But what happened is the type of questions the people used to ask were always very silly. Will I get married? Will I be rich? Things that were not interesting Kardec. So when he finally joined the movement and he started questioning things that were really elevated and getting the answers, that's when he said, this is not a game. There is something that I cannot understand. So I have to research. So it's an extremely interesting book. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can start reading it. I have the intention to one day open a study. If there are people interested, maybe we can open a study. I love this book. There are many others that have been translated also, so they go by year. 1958 was the first one. So, okay, let's go now. Let's do our initial prayer, as I always do. If you want, please put a glass of water or a bottle of water, and the spirituality will bless your water, and this water will be your medication for this week. So let's go, relax, close your eyes for a brief minute, seconds, and we will do our prayer. Almighty God, beloved Master Jesus, our guardian angels, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. We would like to ask your protection and your inspiration for the study of tonight. And please, Master, send these good vibrations to our friends that are not here, but will be listening to this talk another time. Thank you so much, so be it. Very good, my friends. So, are you ready? Let's start with the book Thought and Life. Let me see who is here. Oh, if I don't move this quickly, I can't see. This drives me crazy. So, the first person I can see, but it's not the first anymore, is Sol Souza. Hello, Sol. Very nice to have you here, always. Teresa, hey Teresa, awesome to have you here. You guys are always here. Meire Delgado, very nice to meet you, Meire. Welcome. Then we have Sol saying good evening. Yes. Daniela Stefanelli. Daniela, my dear, this is awesome to have you here. Are all the babies sleeping? Mother of 3. Not easy. João Carlos Batista Lopes. Hello, João Carlos. Welcome. So Teresa is asking, can you repeat which Spiritist review you are recommending? Teresa, I'm recommending the first one that was translated to English. This one here, the Spiritist review, the one for the year of 1858. This one is actually published by the United States Spiritist Council. So you can go directly to the website of United States Spiritist Council and you will be able to get this book with a discount. It's a wonderful book. It's big, but do not worry. It's so extremely entertaining that you will think it's a novel. And the cases that Kardec tell us, you can easily create a movie. And people are going to think, wow, these people have such an amazing imagination. But in reality, they were real cases that he studied, he cataloged like a scientific mind he had. So this is really a great source of study for us. And I'm really enjoying it. I put this book as another book in my gospel at home with my family. So at this moment, we are studying 4 books. So I had to increase the time from 30 minutes to 45 to 1 hour and 15. And it's getting a lot of fun. So maybe I will increase even more. We only do once a week. So if you guys get the book, if you start reading the book, soon we can open a study for this book too. So we can see what we can do with this book. I love this book. So let's go. I will read chapter 28 that talks about illnesses, and then we can comment. So please feel free to write your comments, write your questions, write anything you would like to let us all know, and I will read right after I finish reading the chapter. Illness. One cannot say with a finality that all physical diseases are a result of the mind. But we can all agree that the mental processes have a certain effect upon disease. Of course, sickness is present mainly to purify the spirit, beginning in the cradle and following the person throughout their life. In the same category of tests are the congenital constraints, the unexpected mutilations, and the diseases of a difficult treatment and cure. They come as a necessary therapy, most certainly planned in advance as a means to help the patient. However, in great majority of cases, diseases are the result of harmful mental reflexes affecting the body, which causes malfunctions of the elements that compose it. Every strong emotion that reaches the body is like a hammer blow on a sensitive machine, and all afflictions that are nurtured and maintained are like a malfunction in a machine. Contemporary medical science is already aware of the fact that all mental tension greatly affects the physical body. When there is an inner conflict, most of the time the salivary glands cease their flow of secretion. The stomach becomes spasmodic and refuses to produce choleric acid that then results in digestive malfunction, manifesting a mucus colitis. This first stage often opens the door to serious organic disorders. The abnormal state of the gastrointestinal system, if recurrent, will damage the nutritional process that in turn affects the nervous system. Various systems then occur, starting from a slight irritation of the gastric membrane on the extreme state of a complex condition of mental imbalances. Depressed thoughts bring sickness to a healthy body and aggravate the condition of a sick body. If it is not advisable to poison the body by the ingestion of dangerous substances, then one must also avoid turbulent states of the soul. Disillusionment and sorrow tend to induce humiliation, derangement, which result in constant inner turmoil. So, humiliating derangement is that state of mind that the person is perturbed. The person cannot fully think, cannot act well. So this is what means derangement. To cultivate pain, sorrow, irritation, and grief is to sow magnetic thorns bushes, fertilizing them in the emotional soil of our existence, thus poisoning the texture of our physical body, damaging our blood, nervous system, organs, and the very centers of the body, given to us by divine providence to use in the development of our faculties for eternal life. Let us then cultivate understanding and patience, kindness and constructive tolerance wherever we go. Only by paying the price of unceasing mental renewal for good, by noble studies and constant service to mankind, will we be able to escape illness, thus making good use of the gifts of the Lord and avoiding the destructive mental reflexes that cause indirect suicide. So this last words, indirect suicide. So if you don't know, indirect suicide is that type of suicide that we all can do, but we don't want to do. In other words, we might be killing our body and we don't know. And we might die of something that we produced in ourselves without really wishing to do it. For example, people who are smokers, that are intensely smoking all the time. Nowadays, medical science proves that this will kill you if another organ don't kill you first. But we know this, according to Spiritism, is an indirect suicide. If you saw the movie or if you read the book Nosso Lar, you see that the spirit of André Luiz, he goes to the lower zones right after dying, and he did not kill himself, but he was a heavy smoker. He drank, he was almost like an alcoholic, and he had lots of other mental disturbances connected with the bad usage of sex. So all these things brought him to the lower zones, and he was recognized there as a suicide, even if he did not take his own life. So this is just for you to understand what is indirect suicide. So let's go back. So first of all, if you have any questions, please let me know. Let me move this thing here because I'm not the best to keep reading, so I have to try to pay attention. Hello, Carla. Welcome. Daniela, almost. You are sleeping. Very good. So now you can pay a little bit more attention, Daniela. This is very good. Hello, River. Welcome. Andrea Mena Barreto. Hello, Andrea. Welcome to our study. Hermínio Silveira. Hello, Hermínio. Welcome. Regina Medi. Hello, my dear. Nice to see you here, too. Lúcia Miranda Birmingham. Oh, my God, your last name is tough. Hi, Lucia. Very nice to have you here. Débora Martins Bernardes. Welcome, welcome. So, guys, going back to the first paragraph. So, when you read, and it tells mental processes have a certain effect upon disease. What is that? So you can imagine if you start thinking too much about something that's negative, this can directly influence your body in a negative way. And this is not just Spiritism letting you know, but there are lots of medical researchers talking about people who are very negative, people who have fixed ideas in negative things. These people have a larger tendency of getting sick because their mind reflects in their body. And this is explained by Spiritism. So then Emmanuel continues. Of course, sickness is present mainly to purify the spirit. This is extremely interesting because we think, oh, we are suffering. This is so bad. But yes, for us, it's like a suffering. Who is the person who enjoys being sick? It's so nice to be sick. No one. No one wants to be sick. We always want to be healthy. But we don't know what we need. That's why we all have spiritual guides in the spiritual realm who are the ones who really helped us to be able to prepare our body to reincarnate. So our body is the collection of everything we need. So our body will have tendencies to get certain diseases that other people will not, because it is part of our process of purification. So I might need that to purify my spirit, not just my body. My body is an instrument to this purification. But when we are sick, we are purifying our spirit. So this is very interesting for us to know. So then he continues. the diseases, they come as a necessary therapy, most centrally planned in advance as a means to help the patient. So this is exactly what I just explained when it is preparing in the spiritual realm. Welcome, Deborah Martins Bernardes. I'm from Brazil. Hello, Deborah. I'm from Brazil too, but I live here in Miami. Bem-vinda. So then we continue. The result of harmful mental reflexes affecting our body. So I don't want you to think that every single disease that we have or we might have was created by our mental reflexes, because we know it's not like that. We know we know that our planet is a planet of tests and atonements, and we know that there are certain things in our lives that we will have to go through. We will have to go through to purify our spirit. But you have to understand that besides that, we can even increase our diseases by our own mental reflexes, by our own negative mental reflexes. That's why it's so important for us to be able to modify this negative cloud that sometimes accompanying us so much. It's very important for us to detect it. Like it is normal to have a disturbance and you get upset, you get angry. Like, for example, my lovely aunt who died, I was very upset, very upset. I cried. Every time I thought about her, I cried. But I know to pass through this time, it is normal. But to remain in this situation, it's not normal. It's not normal, and it's not going to be good for me, neither for her. Because when I cry, when I suffer, I make her suffer, because I send my mental wave of anxiety, sadness, whatever. So it's not good to maintain this. So we have to change. So it's very important for us to understand that we can create extra diseases and we have to modify it. So then he talks in the next page, 104, he talks about the contemporary medical science. So they already know that the mental tension greatly affects physical body. And then the next paragraph, he goes describing when we have an inner conflict, whatever happens to us in very medical terms, but very simple terms that we can understand. But basically, this whole paragraph here explains what happened to us when we get angry. So we get angry with a situation, immediately you tense your body and your muscles, everything start working. Because or you got angry, you had a fight, or you went to a very, very tough stress, or you are going through some kind of anxiety. So all your physical body starts reflecting this, producing this condition. And then he continues saying that this is just the start. So complex condition of mental imbalance. So this is what generates. Then he says about depressed thoughts. They bring sickness to a healthy body and aggravate the condition of a sick body. So depressed thoughts. So imagine you had a fight and you are angry and you cultivate this anger for a few days because you continue angry and you keep thinking about what happened, and this brings you all that terrible energy back, and suddenly you start getting depressed. You start feeling this life is not good, all this just happens to me, everybody wants to attack me, I suffer more than anyone. So besides all the sickness that's already going around your body, these depressed thoughts can make you worse. So if you have gone through depression, or if you know anyone who have gone to depression, it is very difficult. There are many stages of depression. There are depressions that are just a light one that just started. That's one that the person can be easily taken out of that. But there are other ones that are already so deep, so difficult, that the person really needs to have medication, although the person cannot even stand up from bed to take a shower. So we in Spiritism, we understand that spiritual treatment, prayers help a lot in cases of depression. But as usually, we also say that a medical treatment is very important. So people are not gonna, oh no, I don't medication because I will do a spiritual treatment. Yes, it's wonderful, it helps a lot, but in certain cases, it's very important to see a doctor. So we always recommend, please, go to see a doctor and do a spiritual treatment together. We know that when a lot of people pray together for one person, it helps a lot. So this that many spiritist centers are able to offer. So continuing. Oh, I didn't even look. Guys, if you want to say something, please let me know. I have to pay more attention so I know if you say something. Hello, Flavia. Nice to see you, Flavia from Staten Island. Nice to see you. You came on tonight to hear whatever we need to hear. Yes, we all need to hear a lot, because we all need to progress together. So Emmanuel continues, to cultivate pain, sorrow, irritation, and grief is to sow magnetic thorn bushes, fertilizing them in the emotional soil of our existence. It's almost like we are destroying ourselves. So cultivating all these negative thoughts, it's terrible because it brings us down, down, and down. We don't want that. A lot of people say, oh, it's so good to be able to be with person A because it's always happy. So this person brings me some a happy energy that I need so much. And then the same person can say, oh, I don't want to be with person B because this person B is always negative, is always down. I feel like I'm always getting even worse when I'm with her. And it's true, especially if we are going through a difficult time, if we are going through pain, if we're going through anger. Choose the person that you are going to talk to. Because if you talk to a person that's constantly angry, that's constantly down, that's constantly upset, this person is going to inflict more pain on you. Because the person, instead of helping you in a positive way, saying, you have to be faithful, you have to be strong, you have to believe this will pass, a person like that will say, yes, you are right, your life is miserable. Yes, you're right, everything bad happens to you. Poor thing. And what will happen? You are already feeling bad, so you will feel worse. And you will connect these negative feelings of her and yours, and you will bring you even more down. So in the difficult moments, try to choose a person that's more positive. And usually a person don't even need to be that positive, but a person that really loves you will try to guide you to feel better, to get out of this situation. So this is super important. And the last paragraph is really the paragraph that tells us everything. Because until now, we understood everything that causes us to develop more diseases, that causes us to feel worse. Besides what the diseases that I already mentioned that we will have to go through because they are karmic, they are connected with our mistakes from previous lives. We can create new diseases because of our disturbed state of mind. So the last paragraph is the hope. The last paragraph is really the rest of happiness. So let's read. Let us then cultivate understanding and patience, kindness and constructive tolerance wherever we go. So this sentence is very important. And then you're going to say, forget about. I cannot cultivate understanding and patience all the time because I'm super impatient. I get crazy all the time. It is possible, as I said before, it is possible that when something happens, we lose our patience, we explode or whatever. This is not good. That's why we have to control little by little to see if we can mold our character so we can change, we can be better. In 1 minute, think about this life. Let's go back 20 years ago. I don't know if you guys are too young. If you are 20, you're going to be okay. I'm a child. Okay, if you are 20, go back like just then. But let's think about our past. In the past, we are younger, so we are a little bit more impulsive. We have the tendency of believing in everything, and we might have gone through some problems, and we might have been very angry and quickly. When the time passes, we get older, we get wiser, and we start understanding that exploding in anger is not something positive, is not something that helps us. What happens is that we have that explosion, we get angry, many times frustrated because you cannot change certain things, and nothing happens of good. So we have to start learning ourselves. That's the first thing. Start learning ourselves so we can start combating this, and we can start developing a little bit more patience, controlling a little bit our temper. There are people who are very explosive naturally. There are other people, they are not at all. But instead of exploding to the outside, they kind of implode. They do not say anything to anyone, but inside of themselves, they are feeling terrible. They are super angry. They are really burning themselves inside out. This is not good either. Both are really bad. But in the past, let's see a little bit of an evolution here. In the past, a person used to get angry and beaten up another person. Then the person evolved, start to get angry and start screaming at the person. It's more evolvement. And then continue the evolution. Get angry and just tell him, I cannot deal with you right now. The person is still angry, but at least is delivering the anger in a different way. The person started understanding himself, herself, knowing that's not going to bring any good to herself, himself, or to the other person. And then the evolution continues. And we don't know in which stage. We are all in different stages right now. But then the continuation of this evolution is not even getting angry anymore, knowing that that person will not understand me right now. So I cannot even get angry because this person is not understanding me at all. It's just like, okay, I have to accept this situation right now and try to resolve it in a different way, maybe another time with another person. Who knows? But this is just the purification of our spirit. So we are always evolving. And why did I say to you go back 20 years ago? Because I myself, when I see myself 20 years ago, I was so different. Yes, physically, but also in my temper. I have been always forever super happy. But anytime I thought I was right and something went wrong, I used to go crazy. What is not good? So it took me a long time and also a lot of study of spiritism to make me to understand that I had to better myself in this life, not in the next one. So this is very important for us to understand. So as he says, when we start cultivating this understanding and patience and also kindness and constructive tolerance, wherever we go, this will start changing our mental vibrations because we are going to be already vibrating positiveness. And then he continues, only by paying the price of unceasing mental renewal for good by noble studies. Noble studies. It's like what we are doing right now. We are studying a very beautiful book. So instead of reading all kinds of crazy books, like nowadays there are so many, if we really could dedicate at least 1 hour a week to study something positive, not even just about spiritism, but about anything good that will help our soul to vibrate more positive, is wonderful. And then he continued, noble studies and constant service of mankind. So renewal of good, the first one, changing our mental waves. 2, noble studies, what we are doing right now. 3, constant service to mankind. What is constant service to mankind? Do you know? Write it there. Let me see if you know. Let me see if you know. Let me see if I can move this thing down also. Hello, Eloise Bala. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Flávia, Andy, qual o nome do livro em português? Pensamento e Vida. That's the name of Thought and Life. Débora Martins Bernardes. Hello, Débora. Welcome. Yes, I was talking about Nosso Lar before, but now we are studying the book Thought and Life. So what I just told you guys about the service to mankind is really charity. Nowadays, there are so many charitable work all over the place that we need to understand that we also have to do some kind of charitable work. It's not just good to see someone doing this on Facebook and be all excited. Yeah, I'm so happy they are doing. It's so important. They are helping people in Africa. That's wonderful. It's not enough. We have to do it. It's not because we have to do it to be part of the media who are doing good for the others. No, it's because when we get out of our world, when we get out of our problems to help someone else, we are able to identify that other people have problems sometimes that are so much bigger than our problems. Their problems are so big. So, and we are able to help a little bit. So when we are able to do charity to someone else, we are really forgetting about our problems momentarily and helping someone else. When you help someone else, you receive from them or from the spirits that surround them and love them all these positive vibrations, all this love, and you will also start getting friendly spirits connected to you because they see that you're doing good. So it's not just good karma. Yes, good karma too, but it really helps our mental reflexes because we understand we are not the only person suffering in the world. There are so many others and many with problems much worse than ours. And then he continues, we will be able to escape illness, thus making good use of the gifts of the Lord and avoiding the destructive mental reflexes that cause indirect suicide. So these are the things that we have to do to be able to cut these diseases, or at least to be able to avoid certain diseases manifesting in our body. So as usual, Emmanuel is amazing. So it was a great explanation of how the illness can happen in our body. And next week, we are going to study chapter 29, death. And you know, we are spiritists. We know that the death is just of our physical body, not of our spiritual body, because this is eternal. And just because we're talking to death, we are going to the gospel. And tonight we are talking about chapter 2. My kingdom is not of this world. And the last time we studied about the kingship of Jesus, and tonight we are studying point 5, and I also want to do 6 and 7. So if you have the gospel, I hope you were able to read it, but I will do a little summary so we can advance a little bit faster, so we can also study other books in the future. So basically the point 5 of that says the title is the point of view. Basically the point 5 explains the importance of having faith in the spiritual life. Having faith that after this body dies, we will have another body. That's the spiritual body. We will be living in the spiritual realm. So we are not going to disappear. We are not going to go into the nothingness that a lot of people believe. You know, materialistic people, usually they believe that after you die, that's it. You disappear. There is the nothingness. So they understand that you are born, that's your first life ever, and when you die, you disappear. In the Spiritism, we understand it's not like this, because if it was like that, what would be the purpose? What would be our purpose in life if that's the only life we're going to live? So this is not, it's not even an intelligent way, because for us to progress, we have to evolve. In one life only, even if the person is able to live 100 years, that person is not able to learn a lot. So we need many lives to progress. And we know in Spiritism, we always say that the spirit needs to progress as a scale, needs to progress intellectually and morally. And we know that intellectually is much faster than morally. Intellectual, our brain develops much quicker. As we can see in the last 10 years, technology developed like in a exponential way, in a way that's really hard to believe. If you go back just 10, maybe a little bit more, maybe 20 years, I have to tell you that when I was adolescent, there was a soap opera in Brazil that talked about a family of gypsies. And if I remember, this woman, she was in Brazil, and she got a computer. In that time, computers were like very new, because the system Windows had just started. So people used to use just the DOS, that was very complicated, and the Windows started. So in that soap opera, the woman was seeing a man in the computer in another country. The guy was from another country, was another gypsy from another country. And I saw that in the TV, and I said, what a crazy imagination, because this is never gonna happen. And now I am here talking to you guys. A lot of you are in Brazil, and I am in Miami, United States. So you see, never say never. And the technology really developed super quickly. And in this point here, it's saying that without the faith in the spiritual life, life can be really a burden. So when we have this faith, when we understand life is eternal, that everything we are going through now, maybe with our physical body, we have a certain diseases that may be incurable, or in a financial situation that people are really going through very difficult problems. Whatever we are going through, we have always to keep this unshakable faith. That's not easy. It's difficult. But when we have this faith that everything that's happening shall pass, and if it is happening, is because it's better for us, our life will be easier. So basically, that's what it says in number 5. And then when we continue here, and he mentions also, if you, the second paragraph, if you have just a little doubt of this spiritual life, this can create a lot of problems for the person that says, oh, I'm not sure if there is a spiritual life. Maybe there is, but maybe there is not. And just because of this doubt, lots of problems happen. Because then the person gets fixated in what's happening now. Fixated in how much money they have, how many things they have, or the disease they have, all the problems that are acquired, they are solidified because of this. So that's in this point explains how important is not to doubt of the spiritual life. Then it goes to the number 6, and the number 6, it then he explains here that the belief in the spiritual life, the eternal life, it still will make us to progress. Why is talking about it? He's talking about it because he mentions like, oh, okay, so if we have just to believe in the spiritual life and do not worry about anything that's going on, the world will be a total mess, because nobody will care about anything and nothing will be produced to better the planet, for example. And then he says, no, it's not true, because then if you go to the next page, it says, the search for well-being forces people to improve everything. So even if people believe that whatever is happening right now is because they need to go through that, the improvements will happen always. It's almost like an instinct that we all have to progress, to develop certain things. It's like all the diseases that have no medication, the doctors are constantly researching, trying to discover a cure. So this is like almost like an instinct to all of us. And then he continues, possessed as they are of an instinct for progress and self-preservation. So this is interesting to understand that the belief in the spiritual life does not stop us from improving, because this will happen anyway. We all want to do better. We all want to progress. So this is exactly what he's talking about. And then he continues, God does not condemn earthly pleasures, but rather their abuse and the expense of at the expense of matters of the soul. So what he's talking about, for example, we are allowed to eat sugar, to eat chocolate, but we know if we abuse sugar or if we abuse chocolate, we will gain weight. And some people, they will be even ill because they are, like if they are diabetic, for example, it's a big problem. So it's okay to eat it's okay to eat whatever food. It's okay to eat pizza, but if you eat pizza every day, it's also a problem. So everything in life, it's good, but we all need to have this balance. Whatever we abuse of anything, that's the problem. So we have to be careful with the abuse. Abuse is always the problem. And Oh, please, if you have any question, just let me know. I need to keep checking this here so I know what you guys are saying. Let me see what Saul Souza wrote. 14 years ago, I had a really bad depression. Wow. I also had a bad depression 17 years ago. I fought in suicide and I didn't know the power of thought. And I had all bad thoughts about my daughter's father. Oh, I'm so sorry, Saul. I got really sick in my soul and my body. Only after years with the spiritism in my life, I learned to forgive myself and to forgive him. Spiritism is light, and I am grateful every day for my life and my family. And my heart always vibrates happiness when I listen people like you, Angela, talking about spirit. Oh, you are so sweet. But I'm so, so happy that you are able to overcome it. We know that depression brings a lot of people to suicide. And it's really a very, very dangerous disease, a very silent disease, especially when people are naturally quieter, naturally shy. Because when somebody is super outgoing, loud, like myself, and suddenly becomes like this, it's extremely noticeable. Everybody notices, oh, what's going on? Why is she like that? And I also had a very, very bad depression 17 years ago. And it was a really difficult situation. My husband had no idea what to do with me. And I remember I was so bad. I had changed night to day. So I used to sleep the day and be awake at night. I had just lost my job and I had to help financially my parents in Brazil. So my mind was just like going really crazy. And one day was like a Saturday. I was in my uniform, was like the eternal pajamas because I was not getting out of the house, forever in pajamas. And my husband said, tomorrow I'm taking you to your church. I had been in the Spiritist Center in Queens, Ponto de Luz, was Allan Kardec, I think, Spiritist Society, once, only once. So I went there, I really liked it. I didn't know anyone, so I just went, I saw a lecture, and I left. And then all kinds of things started working, I never returned. And in that day, my husband told me, tomorrow I'm taking you there. And I was like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to get out of the house. And then he said, no, you will go. And I will take you. And I was like a child, like, okay, what can I do? So the next day we went there. And I remember being there really upset because I didn't want to be there. And the lecture was about depression. I remember sitting there and listening to the man talking. I didn't know anyone. And in my mind, he was talking to me only. And I was just like, oh my God, he's talking to me. And I really didn't understand much of a spiritism. So in my mind, I was like, oh my God, are the spirits telling him? How does he know I have depression? Anyway, when I left the Spiritist Center, my husband was parked right in front of it. And I came in the car, a totally new person. And I told him, I'm cured. I'm cured. And he was like, what? Because what happened is that it was so strong and so shocking that was really like a direct hit in my mind. And from that moment on, Spiritism really changed my life too, Saul. So what you went through was much, much deeper, much more difficult, much more painful. And I'm very happy you were able to overcome it because it takes a lot of strength, especially for us that we don't have really our blood family many times. We feel so lonely. It's so difficult to overcome certain issues. We want to have our mom or our aunt or our sister, brother, we want to have someone, or even that close friend, to just to hug and ask for help. And in the US, most of the time we can't do it. So I'm very happy we're able to find help. And I have to tell you that Spiritism also helped me, because from that day on, I said, I'm cured and I need to come back to this place every Sunday. And I stayed there for 5 years. For 5 years. And when I left that Spiritist Center, I went directly to open Inner Enlightenment, the one in Manhattan that you know. So Spiritism really changed my life to the better. So I thank you so much for sharing this information with us, because this is a good example to people to understand that sometimes we go through a lot of pain, but we can change, we can improve. So Rosa Santiago, congratulations on your program. It's awesome and true? Must be true. Thank you so much, Rosa Santiago. I hope you come back again. This is awesome. Carolina Correia just joined. Hello, Carolina. Welcome. Andrea Mena Barreto, wow, amazing. Yes, Andrea, we all know someone that went through depression. What happened is that a lot of people don't talk about. They feel ashamed. They don't want to talk about it. But you know, it's a good way to talk about, to let other people to know that yes, this can happen to anyone, anyone. So it happened already to me, but it can happen to anyone at any moment of their lives. And most of the time, it's connected to a problem. But I know people that they start being depressed and they don't even know why. They have no idea why. Their lives are perfect. They are married, have kids, and good job. When you have one situation, it's easier to identify. But there are some times that there is no situation. So everyone needs this help. That's why when we have Spiritism in our lives, it makes it so much easier. Because if we're not feeling good, we just talk to someone in the Spiritist Center and we can ask for fraternal counseling or fraternal conversation or fraternal assistance. Or we can also ask, could you please put my name for prayers? Almost every Spiritist Center, they have a book that you can put name for prayers. And many Spiritist Centers have spiritual treatments where a group of people will pray for one person, and this person has to go to the center to study a little bit, to receive magnetic passes through a certain period of time. So this is really a blessing for us because we have this extra assistance. So this is a wonderful thing for us. And just because I want to finalize, the number 7, it talks about Spiritism broadens one thought and opens up new horizons. And it is true. Spiritism is a blessing because if we go through the Spirit's book, for me, when I read the Spirit's book the first time, I was like, wow, the answer, the questions were already unbelievable because there were many questions there that I had. And the answers from the Spirits were absolutely amazing. So the Spirit's book is phenomenal. But also, if you are able to read the novels of the Spirit, André Luiz, you get like, it's better than any kind of soap opera. The books are just so amazing and so deep. If you can start with Nosso Lar, who became a movie, that's unbelievable and really great. But I also love very much the other book that, what's the name? Just because I want to say now, I'm not going to remember. Oh my God, I can't remember. I will remember and I will write in the information. But all the books of André Luiz broaden up our understanding of what will happen after this life. So it's not that we are going to be one of those people that say, yeah, maybe there is something, there is some kind of other life. We are not going to be like that. We will say, yes. It's not I believe there is life after death. I know there is life after death. And it depends on me to have a better life after death or a little bit more complicated one. So that's why Spiritism opens up also letting us know that every action has a reaction. So when you do something good, you have a positive reaction. When you do something bad, you will have a bad reaction. So it's the law of action and the reaction, the law of a consequence. So we have to always think, what are we doing? Would I like this to happen to me? If the answer is no, don't do it. So this broader knowledge is a blessing for all of us. It's a blessing that helps us, but also help us to understand the problems the others are going through. To understand, there are some people that cannot understand us yet, people that cannot understand Spiritism yet. But it gives us this understanding that everything has its time, everything has its place. And it's a blessing that we are all be able to meet Spiritism and to embrace it. So this brings this life, this new light in our life. So my friends, I want to invite you now just to relax so we can close our meeting with a prayer and then we come back again next week. Almighty God, beloved Master Jesus, thank you so much for all the blessings received tonight. We would like to send these good vibrations to all our friends connected with us at this moment, but also the ones that will be listening to this talk later on. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your light, your inspiration. And please keep us with these good positive vibrations so we can come back again next week. Thank you so much. So be it. So my friends, thank you so much. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Cause and effect. Yes, Deborah. Sometimes I forget words. So it was awesome to have you here. It was really good. I believe we learned a lot. And every time I do these studies, I'm the one who benefits the most because I'm always learning a lot. So just to remind you guys, next week we will have our studies again. This study is bi-weekly, but because I missed last week, I had the study today, and next week we will have another one. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Mwah! God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. See you. Bye.